we are live. So whenever you're ready, take it from there.
It's still loading for you guys too, right?
Yeah, I'm still showing it as loading.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
I think it's probably because it's a large file.
Yeah. Perfect.
Go.
All right, everybody. This is my project about Ohio Health Doctor Hospital. First of all, I want you all to know about the interview session I conducted. I conducted a health professional who has worked in HR department of numerous healthcare institutions across the country and has been in the healthcare sector for 6 years. Her name is Muhibba Muhammad. She works at Doctor Hospital right now, and that's the address. And Doctor Hospital Ohio Health is one of the highest performing hospitals. The quality of service and consumers' satisfaction is highly appreciated and encouraged by people all over the world. It's considered as the second biggest osteopathic medical training program. It has almost 2,900 net employees, and that include physicians, associates, and volunteers. The hospital assistant is 9,400 patients and 3,736 surgeries over the last year. The stakeholders of any organization play an important role in its growth and in development. The whole team is responsible for the positive feedback. Services providers at a hospital are physicians and nurses. Individuals who are provided with services like center care, heart and vascular, neuroscience and stroke, and many other patients. An employee includes all physician, associates, and volunteers. Employers are also part of the stockholders. Challenges. There are challenges being faced by the hospital to achieve all goals and objectives that will make success easier. Professionals need to maintain certain criteria for professionalism to stay responsible and motivated. Accessibility, reliability, and transparency are important to be maintained by everyone. Quality of service is not to be compared at any cost. Following the rules and regulation for maintaining different hospital is necessary to be followed. And now I'm going to start with the SWOT. So for the strengths of the organization reflects on accumulated positive aspect for the institutions that encourage performance and positive responses from other people as well. Doctor Hospital has a highly qualified and experienced team. The hospital is equipped with latest technology along with expert professionals. Sense of the reliability among the patient is appreciated and encouraged. The hospital and staff are dedicated in emergency section also. For weakness, the Ohio Health Doctor Hospital weakness is noted in their cost of services. The administration and doctor requires a heavy amount to be paid before taking any patient. Middle-class patient and families find services unaffordable that makes them will switch the other hospital. Another major weakness is the location of the hospital's main city. People from urban areas have to travel a lot to reach the hospital. And the graph shows the increase in expenditure year after year. The expenses and high rate of Ohio hospital are not limited to only this area, but overall, study and analyze report that U.S. expenses are increasing, especially those related to healthcare system and services. The services are highly demanded and many people, hence it becomes difficult for all hospitals to reach the same level. And as you can see from down, it then goes up. As for the opportunities are hope to betterment and development, but it surely requires a few amendments and struggle to be made. Expansion of our institution is great opportunity as well as let people from all the areas get services and facility of doctor hospital. Fulfilling need of people that find it way to compassion and nurturing and healing is another noticeable opportunity. Rich delivery and staff and doctors contribute in better administration and management. Another opportunity is to start certain number of charitable programs that will let poor people or needy people to get service. It will help to improve reputation and gain respect. As for a threat, threats are the factors and attributes that make an organization weaker and less competitive. The biggest threat in the hospital's policies and management does not get along with involving healthcare system. New initiatives that are being adopted by in other hospital and organization are not adopted here at the doctor hospital. The hospital is not supportive toward changes process. It can make it suffer though. In conclusion, my presentation and highlight all main points that I have learned from Muhibbo and with my searches for reference. I think a high rate of services make it hard for many people to approach the hospital. Acceptance towards challenges is required by management as it will make it competition stronger. New technology and new initiatives need support from all the staff members. Location of a hospital can be improved and expansions can be made to let maximum people facilitated from all the services. And that's my reference. And I think I'm done.
Okay. Catherine, did you have a question for her?
Oh, sure. Was your presentation, was that based on one area of the hospital, or did you do all of Riverside?
I just did the doctor hospital one. You know how we have a lot of Ohio hospitals, different areas? So I did the one on West Side.
Oh, okay. So it was just for Doctor's Hospital.
Yeah, that's the only one I
did.
Okay.
Nice.
Christina, I think she's offline for a minute. I'll ask a question. Do you believe that there will be significant challenges with like the plans that you're implementing, that you're proposing for them to do?
I believe it will be special for the doctor's hospital because when I had an interview with Muhibbo, she said that for every organization, they have like a new plan every time, and then they go through with the plan strategy. But with the doctor hospital, it seems like it takes them like a while to start approaching for those strategy and for the nurses and the staff and everybody to start those strategy. So I guess it's going to take them a time. especially the fact that it's in a big hospital too.
Okay. Gary, did you have a question from Mulki?
The only question I was going to ask is like in regards to you said one of the weaknesses. Were they making any other locations in regards? Because you said there was a problem with them just being located in the main city with people having access. Do you know anything about that?
Well, as I've seen the hospital, I went there like 3 times or 4 times, and I've never heard it before. This is the first time, but I seen in other Ohio hospital. But then this one mainly they say Ohio Health Doctor Hospital. So I think because it's on west side, they could have different places too with that area, that name Ohio Health. But then they could add another names. Because when I went there and I see the name of the hospital, it says Ohio Health Doctors Hospital. So they go with the Ohio name.
Okay. All right. I don't think Christine is online right now, but did anybody else have any questions, or you guys ready for Catherine to take over?
I don't think I have any more questions.
I think I'm set too. So if Mulki, do you have the option of getting out of that?
Oh, it says loading. I think somebody, Gary's doing it.
I'm loading. I didn't think I was doing that. I'm sorry. Let me back out.
Yeah, I think Catherine's next.
Oh, okay.
Let me try here. 12, 10, 3.
Oh no, this is showing me loading anything. I don't think. No.
It says loading on my screen. I don't know who's loading it though.
I don't know. I don't have anything.
I just got the option that says take over as presenter. That's it.
Yeah.
Also, it says loading for me. Let me see if I can do anything. I have share your desktop, your Windows file, co-author, add attachment, more. Oh, again.
I would say
I don't have the option. I think if Catherine just
take over as presenter, you should be able to do it. Yeah.
Let me see here. Share PowerPoint.
Yeah, there you go. That should take it from there. I've got your stuff loaded now too.
Yeah.
Maybe. Why is this not? Try this one. All right, says it's uploading.
Oh, cool. Yep, I see it starting now.
Yeah, I see it too.
Hopefully this is the right version. Okay.
I'm sure it is.
Alrighty, well, my name is Catherine Hunley Allender, and I did my strategic audit simulation project on Ohio State University Physicians, which is actually a subunit of OSU. And they provide all the physician plans for the medical center, which includes all your internal medicine, family practice, labs, imaging, any kind of ambulatory care clinics for Central Ohio. And they continue to grow with their services and what they provide and all their available locations here within Central Ohio. Their performance actually this past year was record-breaking. They brought in $3.7 billion for OSU Wexner Medical Center, which was an 8.9% increase in revenue. And their cash, capital funds, and operating revenue, all of that increased too. I think it was their cash increase from $643 million to $1.4 billion last year. Their expenses also increased, obviously, from their expansion from $81 million to $487 million, but still left them with substantial gross revenue. Their corporate governance with their board of directors, they actually have a four-person board, and it's made up from OSU Wexner Medical Center's 25-member board, and so they share 4 of the members, and they actually overlap with their job duties. So the president for OSUP, he also serves as the director of ambulatory services and as the vice dean of clinical affairs for OSU Wexner Medical Center. Then Wendy Horton, she's the chief administrative officer, and she is also over the College of Medicine and for the Office of Health Sciences. And then Ryan Golitzer, he is he's the vice president, but he also works as the finance officer for the College of Medicine and for OSUP too. And Dan Like, who's the executive director of ambulatory services, he is also on the board for OSU for the same thing. And since their organization is so big for OSU, they have like an extensive corporate map. This is just a simple one for OSU physicians itself, and a lot of their stuff is combined, and they do that at corporate office for OSU physicians. For the external environment, we have obviously several different things so that affect them. The natural tasks would be for the climate change, and it's producing more disease-carrying insects and affecting food production because of severe weather. Societal issues are the opioid crisis, increased prevalence in top 5 health concerns with older people, so stroke, obesity, asthma, cancer, and diabetes. And then we also have problems with keeping consumers, competitors, and with the government. Opportunities for OSUP are, identifying the weather patterns, discussing the disease processes associated with it, such as the asthma with, increased heat. They have opportunities for educating about addiction for people that are not addicted yet, for people that are addicted, and providing treatment for them. Proactively planning for future crises that take place that they learn from the opioid crisis. And with OSU, all their emergency rooms are still within the local hospital instead of being freestanding, like how Mount Carmel and Ohio Health now are having freestanding emergency rooms. This way it's easier for admissions and faster treatment. And the other opportunity is their academic affiliation. So they have ample access to resources and technology and funding and all that good stuff. Threats for OSU physicians is with the extreme weather. There's an increase with the using emergency medical services. ERs are being overrun with the opioid overdoses. So that includes the beds for, the regular emergency room for long-term stays. It's affecting NICUs for babies born addicted. And then just with the aging population, it's also decreasing the medical personnel pool for competent professionals. And let's see here. Then with the internal environment, this has, with their structure and culture within OSU, they're actually small enough that everyone's aware of the changes in the voices, and their voices are heard as a whole. And then resources, they have plenty of resources. OSU, it's a brand name that does the marketing for itself. Their finances with their cost position, all that is, their management does a great job managing all their funds and allocating and delivering affordable care for their customers. Their research and delivery team, they bring in all the new tech, get rid of all the old stuff, which is all provided government funded because, again, for the academic affiliation. They maintain their competitive edge, and their HR department does great with promoting diversity and inclusion and finding the best fits for their high-level positions. And then let's see here, the situational analysis. So I'm sorry, this is actually not my current PowerPoint. This is an older one that I already tried to revise. But they have, let's see here. They're doing the SWOT analysis. So we have our strengths. Again, that's all goes by with their size, academic affiliation, access to resources, financial position. Their weaknesses are actually location as well, because most of their locations are right in the heart of Columbus. They don't have too many outlying opportunities. Mm-hmm. Opportunities, though, are being proactive with being able to treat these chronic conditions and the opioid crisis that's affecting the city. Threats would be the aging population, again, decreasing the professional pool and income. And that's when I did the SFAX matrix here, and then that helped pinpoint some of the issues. And then again, with the TOES matrix, I went ahead and did that one as well, and that helped point out what we could do for alternative, strategic alternatives, which that came to using their size to expand locally to provide better access and affordable care to the community and to gain a larger portion of the market share, which in 2010, OSU and Mount Carmel actually shared was like a 29% of the market, while Ohio Health had like 42% of the market. So they're still trying to bring that up. And we also want to maximize the access to research, technology, and other resources for the education, recruitment, and the treatment of our patients. And these things, they all rely heavily on the strengths and opportunities while minimizing the threats and weaknesses. And they resolve short and long-term issues by providing this care, employment, and education for the community. Implementation, I did to add new diagnostic technology in the pulmonary and cardiology units to help diagnose asthma on the spot instead of having to be referred out and go into an inpatient setting for some of the testings for both cardiology and pulmonary. Access to PT and the gym for bariatric patients, and then provide income-based payments for cancer screenings for uninsured patients. And then this was a dashboard, which I didn't want to be on here, but that's okay. Because I actually changed that and I did just a scorecard, and then that was to see if the let's see here, what is it? For my performance metrics did operating revenue increase by the 10% within 3 years? Has the additional sites, they want to add 5 sites within 3 years. They're at 93. They want to have 98 locations spread out further across the city to reach more patients. Is patient volume increasing by the 5% after the 3 years? And has market share come up from 29% to at least 34%? Get back in here. And that is my presentation for OSUP.
Really good. Really good. Mulki, did you have any questions for Catherine?
Yes. The only question I have, throughout your experience in doing all this, is there anything like you think they need to improve other than the location, like that you notice it?
Their location is their biggest weakness, only because, so Mount Carmel and Ohio Health, they have several different locations around, within 270, even closer suburbs, so Grove City and Hilliard. There's no OSU presence in those areas. Mm-hmm. So they're all mainly outside of 270s, like Lewis Center, Powell, Gahanna. Mm-hmm. They don't really have the extra, and there's nothing south of downtown Columbus for OSU. So if they could expand, they could reach a lot more of the rural population and actually create a presence and better competition in those areas.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. Catherine, this was Ann. Do you believe, or what do you believe is the biggest motivating environmental factor? Do you think it's more internal or external as far as when you were coming up with your... External?
Yeah. Since we have our aging population, it's 55,000 seniors that live in Columbus, 13% of them live in poverty, and most of them have some sort of chronic condition, whether it's a pulmonary, a cardiology, stroke, diabetes, they're obese, something, and they all need some sort of treatment, and a lot of them can't afford it or even have access to get treatment. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing, I think, is causing them, I don't know, they need to come up with programs to cater to those people.
Yeah, definitely. Gary, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I did have one. You said on your thing, one of the threats were in regards to long waiting times for people with chronic illnesses. Are they going to make any type of change to correct that?
Well, they're hoping with the addition of, because they want to actually expand their ambulatory services. So that was one of my things. I said another 5 locations. That would help spread out some of those patients.
Oh, okay.
So that would decrease, whether it's referral, whether it's trying to get in to see a doctor, or it's actual wait times at the office, or even afterwards being referred to have further testing. That's hopefully to spread out that wait time and help out with that.
Okay.
I'm going to jump a little bit ahead, and I apologize. Catherine had mentioned, Christina was mentioning to me that she was having some technical issues, so I'm going to maybe just jump in for her ahead of time. I'm getting ready to try and load my stuff right now. So I think we might have to have her go last.
Okay.
Okay, I'm waiting for my stuff to come up. Sorry. It's taking its time. Sorry, guys. Are you guys starting to see my stuff coming up?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
No, on my end it just says feel free to
Yeah.
start sharing.
Yeah, same here.
I know I revised my PowerPoint before we started and I can't find it. Well, that's not the one that loaded anyway. It's on here.
Okay. So it looked like it was starting to share. Let me try this again. So far I've got a you're uploading strategic simulation thing. Okay.
Oh, it's
Are
loading
you starting
now.
to see loading now?
Yes.
Wow, that's taking a while. Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Ann Shoebottom, and this is my strategic audit simulation project for Ohio Living, Westminster Thurber Long-Term Care. Working collaboratively with my healthcare professional, Darlene, I performed a strategic audit simulation for Ohio Living, Westminster Thurber Long-Term Care using the 8-step method of the strategic audit diagnostic tool process. Ohio Living Westminster Thurber Current Situation Critique. Assessing the current strategic factors is vital for an appraisal of achievable goals. It takes into consideration that this nonprofit organization strictly adheres to their mission and objectives. They are quite successful because of their brand name loyalty in a competitive environment. So the audit instrument had to examine their mission and goals, products and services, resident profiles, ownership, and what factors ultimately drive their success. Like many other senior care facilities, Ohio Living Westminster Thurber is experiencing challenges with Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services reimbursement protocols, Medicare bundled payment challenges, and a competitive environment. As a nonprofit facility, the organization relies heavily on donation support to offset reimbursement issues. Therefore, it is critical that their trademark reputation remains strong within the community that backs their care endeavors. Additionally, competitive wages and reputation are an essential element for retaining and hiring clinical workforce talent. Hence, the strategic plan resolution had to consider all these sources as well as the workplace culture or risk failure when implementing the plan. The Ohio Living Westminster Thurber corporate governance structure. Looking into the corporate governance structure is valuable in determining how the organization's decision makers relate to the process of the strategic management plan. Ohio Living Westminster Thurber's 22-member board and top management are responsible for overseeing the corporation's policies, mandates, and customs to all employees within the organization. Approval of all strategic endeavors must meet with their agreement before any plan can be put into place. The Ohio Living Westminster Thurber external environment. An assessment of the external environment of the institution is vital when studying elements to consider when planning and developing strategic management plans. It was necessary to identify factors that are driving their healthcare industry as well as other competitive businesses. Studying sustainability issues, the societal environment, the task environment, and the immediate environment developed a framework that provided spotlight scrutiny for Westminster Thurber's external environmental evaluation. This also helped identify market opportunities in the healthcare industry and threats that should be addressed. Ohio Living Westminster Thurber's internal environment. Performing an internal analysis of the workplace setting is the critical beginning of the assessment process. An organization needs to observe the internal structure and how it relates to decision making, delve into the corporate culture and how employees, management, and shareholders interact, connect with beliefs and expectations, explore corporate resources with regards to marketing, brand awareness, organizational design, and focal operational staff. Using this approach helped identify strengths and weaknesses that can lead to a proposed addition to their current strategic plan. Analysis of strategic factors. Ohio Living Westminster Thurber SWOT analysis. When it comes to formulating a strategic management plan, a practical and impartial assessment will accomplish clarity. One such method is by utilizing a strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats or SWOT analysis tool that considers the internal factor, and this internal scrutiny allowed for observation of the internal structure and how it relates to the decision-making process, and the external factor, which was an appraisal of features that are motivating the current healthcare industry and how this will affect the framework of the strategic plan. Strategic alternatives for Ohio Living Westminster Thurber. Developing strategic alternatives was supported by the overall environmental view of Westminster Thurber's internal and external factors. The strategic method needed to provide a way to address essential concerns, strategic success, provide a strategy that made sense of maintaining their brand loyalty and admiration, and deliver a way to implement the plan. In this instance, an in-house corporate reputational management strategy was recommended to sustain support efforts with CMS, uphold donor partnership sustainability, and motivate clinical staff to stay with the organization. The suggested plan is to create a reputational management strategy that showcases the strengths and opportunities of the facility, which will improve resident satisfaction to generate additional financial reimbursement without a great deal of budget capital. Sorry about that. Implementation strategy for Ohio Living Westminster Thurber. The implementation of a strategic plan involves cooperation and teamwork within the organization. Frequently, it is the employment of the idea that can be challenging, but a properly implemented plan can provide internal and external benefits that can excel the operations of a business. The strategic implementation plan contains the following details. The Brand and Growth Department of Ohio Living will apply the strategy. The approach will be implemented starting the first quarter of the new year. The existing in-house digital marketing and public relations department will start with showcasing Westminster Thurber's community points of pride. The strategy will share communal news features using a digital market newsletter update that showcases positive senior and clinical workforce story articles. The recommended elements from strategic findings should assist Ohio Living Westminster Thurber with fostering responsibility of the program, implementation feasibility, and developing standard operating procedures for workforce consistency. Evaluation and control for Ohio Living Westminster Thurber. Formulating a balanced scorecard was important to evaluation and control measurements that will determine whether the strategic, reputational management quantity objectives have increased, such as growth of a referral market share by 2021 of 3%, implement community surveys by 2019, an increase of donation revenue by 5% by 2021, and a reduction of staff turnover to 10% by the fourth quarter of 2019. In conclusion of the Ohio Living Westminster Thurber Long-Term Care Strategic Audit Simulation, the Strategic Audit Simulation Project for Ohio Living Westminster Thurber was the culmination of 6 weeks of developing a corporate strategy. This endeavor was critical for understanding how to devise and prepare organizational proposals in an ever-changing healthcare setting. Engaging with my healthcare professional was vital for understanding the corporate culture and the value that they place on their reputation preservation. Learning how to compile a strategic audit review is an effective management method that allows an organization to review its current and future resources. This skill set is imperative to healthcare management and is a valuable acumen to develop for organizational growth. Are there any questions?
Yes. The only question I have, seeing the Ohio Living Hospital, do you think is growing from the last 5 years?
It definitely is growing, and because it's a nonprofit organization as well. So these are senior care facilities that,
Right.
they're going from assisted living, and they're kind of going on there. What they've actually started to bring in now is hospice. Unfortunately, it's a sad thing. That seems to be one of the biggest, largest growth for them is the hospice, which, yeah, and that is growing for them. So it's for people that, have to make that decision, where they're going to end their life at that point. And some of it they are having, as far as like as a step down unit when people have had surgeries, but it's
Right.
mostly been the increase is to the hospice sector.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
One thing I was gonna say is, you said something about threats that Westminster may have. What type of threats may they have in regards to business?
The biggest thing that they're running into, honestly, right now, and I think a lot of it's not just like a long-term care facility, is it's Medicare reimbursement, and the value-based care. That's rolling on. The protocols are very specific, and they have to meet that. At the same time, the expansion payments, that's lower payments that they're receiving from Medicare and Medicaid. So that's affecting that as well. So they're leading even further on with their, people that do the donations. That's really, kind of offsets what they don't necessarily get from the government. They have an actual large area of people that are donors that give money towards this. This originally started out through the Presbyterian Church and started in 1922, and they just out of literally just donations, their parishioners gave money to have places for seniors to live, towards the end of their life, or if they were very poor, and it kind of went from there.
Sure. So they do accept Medicaid now?
Medicaid, Medicare, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
at one point they did not accept Medicaid when my grandmother was actually trying to get into that location because they were part of her, affiliated with her church, and they
Right.
didn't take the Medicaid because they weren't getting enough reimbursement at that time.
They're
So she
still
wasn't able to get
struggling.
in there.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is a lot of it is a struggle, and that's not even just. I went through this with my own parents as well, so I understand. It's tough. It really is. A lot of it, if they don't have those funds available or if they don't have the space available, that's another thing. You know, yeah, it's hard. But my parents had the same thing. So they're relying on Medicaid, Medicare reimbursement.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then also there's Medicaid areas that they fund for, people that are poor, so that's also for them as well. But I think that's also very, there's so many people that need that it's kind of like, hard almost to get on a list like that too.
Right. Okay.
Christina told me that she's still having some issues, so she'd like to maybe do this where she goes last, if that's possible. So, Gary, I've ended. Do you want to go ahead and try and share your screen then?
Yeah, let me try. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Yep, I'm seeing it loading too, Gary.
Yeah. All right. I'll start. Strategic Audit Simulation Project by Gary Williams. All right. I did my interview with my healthcare professional, Susan Bird. She's an electronic enrollment supervisor at Aetna Health Insurance. And that's actually the professional, actually the place I did was Aetna as well. She's been over in Aetna for 20 years, started off in actually being a regular member service provider coming in that started for 20 years. So she works directly with our plan sponsors, enrolling them into the system so they can show that they have their actual healthcare coverage. All right, the strategic role. How important is it? I'm sorry. Oops, sorry. The use of strategic management helps the managers at Aetna make effective business decisions. Strategic management also helps upper management with making corporate decisions on the actual company's future. We actually had one of those just happen maybe a week ago when we merged with CVS Health. The use, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep on flipping that. Aetna upper management has actually used strategic management to make decisions for the company. Like I said, in regards to the merger, that's one of the things. Aetna's upper management also has rolled out a new healthcare model for our members, and with that new model being actually being released like 2 years ago and actually finally being rolled out within this past year, has actually increased business for Aetna, and with the merger with CVS, even can even actually increase even more business as well. And if you just look at the next slide, it just shows just like a little promotional thing that Aetna has sent out in regards to promoting.
I'm done, Annie. I was the first one.
Promoting the.
How they gotta listen and ask questions?
Without promoting the actual new healthcare model. All right. The environment. We'll start with the internal environment. All right, and we'll start with the brand. Aetna has established their name with being one of the most respectable health insurance companies. and this brand has helped them with joint ventures. We've brought other health insurance companies in the past and has been successful with doing that. And we're also, which also helps us to create new business models as well, which has actually helped our business increase and gain new clients throughout Ohio and also throughout the United States as well. Marketing. Aetna has created a new healthcare model that has been marketing. I'm sorry, it has been marketing with the new healthcare model to potential clients and also to current clients. There have been actually a lot of current clients that we had now that have upgraded to the new model, which is called Aetna One advocacy model. It's just a model pretty much where they're pretty much taking the actual member out of the middle and making sure that they have an advocate for life in regards to helping them learn their healthcare coverage, helping with them finding providers, any claim situations, and pretty much any problem that they may have. They just have one contact they can call, and that contact within our company will help our members anytime that they may need. We provide them with direct numbers to our desk and also direct emails as well. Technology. Technology has always been a key for Aetna. Aetna's always upgrading and using new software to actually help better serve our members and providers. Aetna has also created apps to use as well to help with members having easier access to their healthcare. Aetna's also developed the use of something called Teledoc, which members can actually go online to do video conferences with their doctors for certain like office consultations and things in that matter. Hold on, sorry, my screen just froze up. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Not sure what happened. All right, and then we'll go with the external. Our competitors are we have Humana, Health Insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health. Those are one of Aetna's main competitors. It's important for Aetna to stay to try to stay ahead of the competition. And with Aetna actually starting the new healthcare model, the A1A model, has helped us stay ahead of our competitors. And actually, I'm not saying we're the actual #1 health insurance. I think we're actually within the top 3 guaranteed. I know that for sure, but I'm not sure what the actual numbers. New trends. Aetna's always trying to keep up with the new trends in the business. One with, adopting the Teledoc, actually adopting the apps where people have access to healthcare. We're also active on social media as well with promoting people getting flu shots, things in that matter. So Aetna's out there just trying to market itself and keep the brand going. And one of the main things, like I said, was the merger. That has helped Aetna keep up with the competition. I do believe one of Aetna's competitors actually, I think it was Humana, they actually did a merger with Express Scripts. So that was key. And I really feel that, based off, my interview with my healthcare professional and actually doing the research, I felt that that's one of the reasons why Aetna was trying to pull this merger, because they wanted to, keep up ground with their competitors, and that's one of the reasons why they merged with CVS, which definitely helps us stay up with the competition. And with the merger, Aetna definitely feels that merging with CVS will help our members with lowering their health costs overall as time goes on. All right, and the analysis, strategic factors, just put a picture of the merger. It's just been such a big talk within the last, I would say, month, because it took some time for it to actually go through and be approved. But once I say with the last couple of weeks, people knew it was going to go through, so it's just been big talk. And right now, Aetna actually has since the approval, actually it was like a $60 billion merger between CVS and Aetna. Now, keep in mind that CVS previously had revenues that were like 185 billion last year, and they provided prescription plans to like roughly 94 million Americans, or I mean not Americans, but customers. And on Aetna's side, Aetna is considered one of the large insured companies. We did about 60 billion in revenue last year, and that covers 22 million people that have actual health plans. So with that, that's definitely one of our strengths right there. With us combining, we're determined to bring both companies to show and strengthen to improve consumer health overall. So that's one of the strengths. Now, in regards to, it's really tough to say a weakness, but if we definitely, a weakness could definitely be, and just in regards to, always competitive salaries, especially with the competition. There's been rumors that United Healthcare are paying more per hour and some salary positions than Aetna. So salary is always, definitely a key to a weakness. They're always working on flexing those salaries to be competitive. I would also say that even with Humana and Express Scripts merging as well, that could be, something that could be challenging, for us as well. Actually, that I would say that not as a weakness, but that would be an actual threat with them merging as well. So, but with opportunities, it gives us a chance for new business, a chance to I don't want to say take over the market, but just definitely have control of the market where we can help our consumers lower health cost care. A lot of people are scared that we may control the market and be able to control prices and make everything prices high. But based off, my healthcare professional and just looking at things in regards to Aetna and the merger, they're definitely trying to make sure that prices do not increase and that they're trying to keep the price down, definitely for healthcare costs for all consumers.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm almost finished. All right, next one is evaluation and control. All right, I have on here staying the same. With that, people were always concerned, on the Aetna side in regards to, are we going to get fired? Are benefits going to change? But CVS came right out, gave us all the information, stating that at the time nothing's going to change. Job titles, bonuses, pay, salaries, all that will stay to change. Everything will stay to change within a full year from the actual closing of the merger. So, and everything within that year will be actually 2020. They're saying everything will be evaluated. But they're stating that they're going to send out surveys to all the employees, and based off those surveys, they're going to make those decisions pretty much off those surveys on how we want to, proceed on with the future. I'm not saying that that's what they're telling us, but we all know that upper management will make the final decisions with them. And consumers, Aetna and CVS are doing a new initiative called the New Front Door to Healthcare by combining CVS community's outreach program with Aetna's actual resources. They're going to pretty much, this program is going to help patients to help them improve and understand their health care and basically know their healthcare outcome. There seems to be a lot of problems with a lot of our members not understanding their benefits and not understanding exactly what they're going to be expected cost of care for certain types of services. So that's a key. Aetna plans on Aetna and CVS. They also plan on closing the gap for today's healthcare consumer. Actually, by locally, They're going to help consumers access care where and how it's convenient for them. If they want to, go to somewhere close by, if they want to try to use Teledoc, things of that matter. So just with the digital, update with the new technology, so we're just keeping all opportunities available for members so they can get their health care. And it tries to make it simple. They don't try to make things, difficult. They want people to be able to hop online, use the app, understand their benefits. If not, to contact us. And that's the reason why with the One advocacy model, they don't have to, stay online or hold. They have direct access to an advocate that can assist them. And they also, the main thing, they want to try to achieve the best health care for people at a lower cost. That's definitely one of the key things that with the merger CVS Aetna wants to do. I just wanted to also just touch on this real quickly, that Aetna and CVS, they have came together. They've actually started a board called Think Enterprise. This board actually helps leadership come together from the CVS half to Aetna half, and basically going through ideas and evaluating things. So pretty much try to keep it, fair, so both sides feel that they're getting, the best out of this actual merger. So that's just something that they always within the organization put out to all employees to let us know that we pretty much won't get the short end of of the deal. Pretty much, that's what they're letting us know. And Q&A. That's it. Any questions?
The only question I have is there any strategy that you recommend for Aetna on your end while you were doing this project?
You said, was there any strategy?
Yeah, that you recommend to be implemented for this company?
I mean, with the merger, it's really hard to say how things are going to play out. We should be able to increase, business with our new model. We don't know how much more business will, be added, but everything from what we're seeing is going to be increasing business just using our new A1A model that we're promoting.
Okay.
Catherine, did you have a question?
And so do you think that with Aetna merging with CVS that they're going to do like the same as CVS Caremark with their own insurance and make everything have to be 90-day scripts to make it more difficult for people to get prescriptions at the pharmacy?
Right now, they have not gone over anything like that. We're pretty much manning the actual healthcare side, and they're taking over on the pharmacy side. But we haven't been told anything on our side in regards to how they're going to play out with 90-day scripts in regards to CVS's end. So I mean, with the merger, we're pretty much sticking to what we do best, which is the medical side of it, and sticking to what they do best, which is the pharmacy side of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did you have any questions, Christina?
I really didn't get to hear very much because of some technical difficulties I was having. But I am curious of what he thinks Aetna's prospect is for the future with the changes going on in the industry.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I was curious as to know what you feel Aetna's perspectives are for the future, considering the changes going on in the healthcare industry, especially with insurances.
Right now, I would say, what we've been told that, we're trying to, lower healthcare costs. That's our main goal. But with the merger, they haven't really given any other details than that. That right now, that's what their main goal is, to combine both the markets and, with our consumers and anybody that's insured through us to lower their healthcare costs. That's the main goal.
Okay.
So just a question. So you're saying that with the strategic management that it's really not applying right now to this current workforce environment because of this merger.
Right, right. I
Okay,
mean,
gotcha.
yeah, definitely be a different thing, but with this merger, it's just really just throwing everything. There's no alternative programs. It's pretty much that, with this merger, yeah, we're pretty much merging, and this is how we're going moving forward. This is our future.
Okay. All right. Did anybody else have any questions? Are we all set? Okay. Christina, did you want to go ahead and try and take over then?
Yeah. How do I have to upload this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it.
Yep.
I am so sorry. I really didn't think I was going to be able to join you guys.
Well, I'm glad you're here. That's all that matters.
Okay.
So you're going to hit
so hit upload.
Yeah. You're going to do the share PowerPoint files.
Where is that at?
Looks like you're starting. Something's coming. Oh, maybe I thought.
Does it say not responding or something?
Yeah. I don't know why it's
I had something for a little bit. So
Oh, it says
here, let me try again. Meetings. No, this is not.
try the share PowerPoint
share
files.
PowerPoint files, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not able to find that for some reason.
Are you clicking on the screen that's got the arrow?
Down there is
Down
blue.
at
Once
the
you
bottom,
see the FaceTime, and then
Yeah, it's right next to where you can hang up the phone next to the red button.
Yeah,
Red.
next to the microphone.
Okay.
If you click on that, you're going to
Okay.
share PowerPoint files.
Share there it is. Okay.
And that you should be able to.
Still said. Oh wait, here it goes.
Okay.
It kept telling me it was unavailable. Open.
Something's coming up, Christina. Looks like it's loading.
yeah.
Okay. Is it showing it?
No, it's yep,
oh,
here it is.
you got it.
It's here now.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I just did it like it was like you guys didn't know me, so I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation the way I wrote it.
Good.
So, good evening. My name is Christina Norman. I'm a registered nurse and a student in the Bachelor's of Allied Healthcare Management program at Franklin University. I'll be presenting a strategic audit of Mill Manor Care Center located in my small hometown of Vermilion, Ohio. Mill Manor is an icon in the community, serving the elderly population of this primarily rural town for more than 35 years. It's highly recommended by the residents of Vermilion because everyone knows everyone, as it's the way of a small town. The owners, Steve and Wendy Rankin, are civilly active, respected members of the community, and known advocates for the compassionate and respectful care of the geriatric population. How do I make it go?
At the bottom, you have your slide. You should be able to hit the arrow.
Oh. No. Oh, there it is. I said, no, you're in the way. Okay. Sorry. One of the most important elements that the Rankins fight to maintain is the facility status as a privately owned facility and still provide affordable service to the town they love. Wendy's been a registered nurse since graduating from Fairview Hospital School of Nursing, where she went directly out of high school, and strongly feels, as she says, it's too easy for the elderly to get lost as a person in these large managed care facilities. They become a specific diagnosis or problem set, and that's just wrong. They are a 33-bed, 5-star Medicare, Medicaid certified facility, and they always strive to exceed the community standards for care and service. They're large enough to offer a wide range of services, but small enough to add a personal touch to the patient care. Okay, and then I got to get back on here. This is their Mill Manor's corporate governance structure. They're so small, they really don't have one. When I was working with Steve, we kind of had to, this is kind of what it would look like. So in terms of corporate government, Mill Manor Care Center is privately owned and operated. The shareholders are the owner, president, administrator, and human resource manager, Steve, who is a licensed nursing home administrator, and his wife, owner, vice president, human resource supervisor, Wendy Rankin, who is an RN. They own all shares of stock in the business, and none of the stock is for sale to the public. As this is a very small family-owned business, there's no board of directors. Mr. and Mrs. Rankin make all corporate, legal, financial, and administrative decisions. There's no, some of these responsibilities are either not necessary or pose a conflict of interest for them to have to be like board of directors. There's no CEO, and it would take a court action for one of the Rankins to fire the other one. They are top management. They must control, monitor, or supervise one another, and they supervise all of the staff and everything that goes on in the facility. However, as they are husband and wife, this poses a conflict of interest because it is unlikely that one would report the other for questionable behavior to the IRS or Medical Fraud Control Unit, as theirs is a zero-sum relationship as it pertains to Mill Manor. The fact that both are the sole stockholders of the business is also somewhat of a conflict of interest. So if there was ever a disagreement, they would have a difficult time. It would be a mess for the company because they'd have a difficult time disentangling all of that. I'm sorry, my computer is really slow. I don't know if it's from the power drain or whatever. Okay, there it goes. Okay, the present projected monthly cost as a resident of the home is $5,300. The price comparison of Mill Manor to nonprofit facilities shows it to be 1% higher, while the cost comparison to the average price of for-profit facilities in the state reveals it to be 1.4% less. So overall satisfaction rating for the facility, as reported by Medicare.gov, is 1.4%. The financial statements for 2017 reported revenue of 2% higher than in 2016, and the profits were $2,300 more in 2017 than in 2016. Presently, steps taken by administration arranging for additional services are nearly complete. They started a program to add an infusion service for Mill Manor Care Center, and it's in league with its major competition, Kingston of Vermilion Rehabilitation Center, Kingston of Vermilion Residence, Portland House Nursing Home, the Commons of Providence Assisted Living Facility, Oak Hills Nursing Home, Autumn Ages Retirement Community, and Kendall at Oberlin Retirement Communities. Facilities offer similar services at similar cost to their residents. Mill Manor prides itself on commendable state survey results, which represent the administration's commitment to maintaining the highest of standards. The Care Center plans for continuing the high-quality provision of care to residents through the addition of the long-term intravenous antibiotic and infusion therapies services requested by residents and the community not offered previously. Offering the new amenities is a strategic decision intended as a means of recovering business lost to competitors within the industry and the community who provide the service. Plans for the additional revenue from the new services are increasing bed space with the addition of 6 double occupancy rooms and 2 private suites and 60 additional feet of dining area. Okay. Evaluation of the external environment is a complex but necessary assessment that aids in making financial and strategic management decisions for the betterment of the healthcare organization and the community which it serves. By strategically noting all areas of weaknesses and developing methods of solidifying these areas, while at the same time maintaining zones of strength, a healthcare organization can keep ahead of the economic sand traps and improve their bottom line. An organization that knows where it stands in its community, the potential threats that its competition poses and is aware of opportunities available, makes stronger financial decisions, and has a strong foundation to weather circumstances that place pressure on achieving its mission and long-term goals. Analysis of the external environment for the facility indicates that their opportunities and threats are fairly balanced. As you can see, each category, climate, sustainability, societal, technological, and immigration, all of those threats are met by an opportunity within that category. Why will this not? Okay, sorry. The SWOT analysis and analysis of strategic factors that affect Mill Manor Care Center is not as comprehensive as Hunger and Whelan describe in their text. Essentials of Strategic Management was adapted from the information provided by the owner, president, administrator, and human resource manager. The internal and external factors presented are those Mill Manor management considers important, monitors closely, and constantly focuses on when making business or administrative decisions. The owner insists that because the center is small and privately owned, the elements described in the text do not relate when creating strategic plans or strategic decisions for their facility. The factors used in the strategic planning for Mill Manor are not as far-reaching and better represents the scope and scale in which this facility functions. Review of Mill Manor's mission and objectives reveals an appropriate, realistic, and relevant set of standards and goals. One of the key points within the mission statement is the integration and coordination of community resources into facility programming, which is exactly in alignment with the plans the center has for offering the new services that they are implementing. The mission statement and objectives are also relevant to changes occurring within the United States healthcare system. While the government is not focusing on patient-centered care because it does not necessarily control cost, patient-centered care is an objective of the center and is considered the best means of providing quality care, which is the current expectation of Centers for Medicaid, Medicare services. Achievement of preferred resident outcomes through optimization of resources meets the expected federal, state, and local government goals and achieves the vision of the center by the recognition it receives from these entities. The acknowledgement of Mill Manor's achievement by the credentialing agencies promotes the facility to the community as a leader in its industry. I'm sorry, mine is like flickering and stuff. For the strategic alternatives, I just took the SWOT and pulled out some of the more manageable ones. Some of the things that Steve and I went over, I mean, he felt was pretty far-reaching because, again, they're so small. So why the suggested strategic alternative, the implementation of the long-term IV antibiotic therapy and infusion treatment is already underway. Phase 1 was extremely successful and permitted the initiation of Phase 2 to begin in 2019 rather than the initial projection of 2020. That follows then with, I recommend that initiation of forming a joint operating agreement with Specialty Hospital of Lorraine, which is a long-term acute care hospital. They can then, Specialty is a small physician-owned long-term acute care facility specializing in the extended weaning of ventilation patients and patients receiving complicated wound treatments. Collaboration with this facility adds services not offered by Mill Manor in the way of wound care, and treatment provides a step-down facility for patients from Specialty as they transition from the acute long-term care to a more state of health, allowing them admission to a skilled nursing facility. A collaboration of this nature is well within the mission statement and aids in providing services through collaboration of care with the community. It is supported by the SWOT analysis because it does not have, right now they don't have leverage to negotiate payment contracts, and they assume all the risks. Changes in Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement and the cutting of funding to the programs is a big concern still. To do this would actually address those issues where the implementation of the IV infusion therapy, that program that they started, while it did alleviate some of that, did not address all of it. Potentially, the forced merger with some of the larger facilities, that Springer is a very big, well-known conglomerate of nursing homes, and they've tried to acquire Mill Manor several times. So that's still a threat unless they find a way of gaining more leverage, which merging with specialty would do that. They're well-known and well-respected within the community, so they would be well-received by specialty. There's a service gap in the industry right now, as specialty is in Lorain County, whereas Mill Manor is in Erie County. Erie County doesn't presently have an acute care facility, a hospital to go to. That would provide people within the community someplace to go rather than having to waste their days in a hospital or go further out of network or out of city to find a facility that could accommodate them. Forming a joint operation agreement with another facility will alleviate similar threats and allow the facility to remain independent and address the weaknesses and that is revealed by the SWOT assessment. The long-term IV therapy and infusion treatment program was the brainchild of Vice President Human Resource Supervisor Wendy Rankin. Research and networking of her previous connections made during her nursing career led to the discovery of the service gap. They did not provide those services because they were so small. They weren't able to have an RN on the facility for just the few IVs that they did take care of. It just wasn't cost effective. By providing this therapy, they could then, they raised the cost to the residents gradually by 1%. And that gave them the money to add the trained RNs to do the therapy. It was a 3-stage process. The initiation of the first stage started at the end of 2016. Well, actually, it was in July, so that's not really toward the end. And it actually went really well and allowed them to actually start the second portion early, which they're going to begin that early in 2019. And that will be actually bringing patients in to have the treatments. The numbers generated from the progress thus far indicate that the program is financially feasible and requires no changes in operating procedures. The program conforms to those procedures already in place. Implementation for the joint collaboration of services with Specialty of Hospital Lorain will not be as easily accomplished as the IV therapy program was. It will require developing a relationship with the 3 physicians and collaborating with them to come to an acceptable term that benefits both facilities. Once terms are decided and in place in legal documentation, all parties can then begin forming policies that will assist with the transfer of patients, sharing of services and information that will make collaboration more efficient and again benefit both facilities. For evaluation and control of the collaboration with specialty, this would be the benchmarks they would look for. to know that they were being successful. One standard would be increase resident volume, because that is one thing they're trying, that Mill Manor is, I know, trying to do. And the little bit of research that I was able to do on specialty, I wasn't able to get with I only was able to talk to one of the physicians, and it didn't happen to be the one that handled this, but he said they were always trying to increase patient volume. So that would be a goal that both of them would share. Lowering costs, again, that's another goal that both would share, and 3% was a good number for both of them. And then maintaining independent status. I was surprised to find out that specialty was also going through some of the things that Mill Manor faced as far as other hospitals trying to get them to merge with them and trying to acquire them. So that is an important key concept for specialty hospital as well. So this collaboration would assist in preventing any acquisitions or forced mergers. Specialty has already started agreements with Amherst Hospital, which is actually part of University, which is a huge network, but it's just a collaboration for services for the emergency room, and should their patients require in-house treatment for something other than what they're able to provide for them. And that has allowed them to thus far remain independent, but it's really hard for these smaller facilities to do that. With the changes that are going on with Medicare and Medicaid, it helps a lot of people as far as access. But when you think about it, a lot of these smaller places are then being sucked up. And people in the area where I live, if Mill Manor closed, they'd have to travel further or find someplace. They wouldn't have the choice of someplace small, close to home with people they know. So that takes a lot away too. So even though you seem to provide more access, in some ways you're taking away more access with the changes that they're making in Medicaid and Medicare. Mm-hmm. So this then ends my presentation.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Mulki, do you want to go?
Yes. My question is, does the facility has other competitors nearby?
Yes, I did mention a couple of them. They have both of the Kingston facilities. One is a huge residential facility and Kingston is not just part of the state. They're like out of they're in like 6 different states within the Midwest area.
I've heard of them.
They just built another facility in Erie County, and they're like not even, 10 miles apart, I don't think. So that's one of the big ones. And then Springer Healthcare owns Autumn Ages. They own like 6 or 7 different nursing homes in Lorain County, which is really close. We're like right on the border of Lorain County, but we're actually in Erie County. And then there's also a facility in Oberlin that they're also very small too. So people are familiar with them and will go to them if they can't get into Mill Manor.
Okay. Catherine, did you have any questions?
I'm not sure. I feel like she covered a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Gary?
Oh no, I was just gonna, go off of other locations, but it's answered already. Mm-hmm. No, they haven't been. No one's ever asked them to try to merge or anything since they're such a small business but successful.
They actually, Springer has tried to acquire them twice, because they really want to get into Erie County. They have so many places in Lorain County, but they only have one facility that's like right on the border of Lorain and Erie County. You literally, it's literally right on the border, and they really would like to get a foothold in Erie County. So they've made offers twice, and they did try to acquire it as like a forced merger the second time, but that's when they started this IV infusion therapy program, and it saved them. They would have been sucked up by Springer.
Mhm.
And you think they would benefit if they would merge, or it would still be like the same situation?
Well, it would the benefit would be, they would not have to put so much risk of their own into it to be compliant with the changes that have been made with Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
But again, they are it is a different facility. It's very homey. I don't think that it wouldn't be as nice as it is right now, because then Springer would take over and they would put their policies in. And I'm a nurse and I've been to some of Springer's facilities, and not that they're bad, but you can tell they're bigger.
It's a corporate.
Yes,
corporate environment.
It's the same idea. The little person gets lost.
Gotcha.
Every person that walked into that facility knew every one of the residents, because they're like family. All of the other residents, family members know every resident, and it's like a huge extended family. And you don't really notice that. Even the caregivers, the STNAs and the nurses, they post things all the time on their Facebook, and they have like pictures and everything up all over this wall where their families will come and join into the functions. So it really is a community based.
That's a good thing. So do you think that their workforce culture definitely plays a large part of your implementation plan, for sure?
It does. It does.
Okay.
As far as especially for resident satisfaction and what the community wants.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have any other questions? Or are we all set?
I think
I'm good.
I think we're all set.